Yeah, I've just been speaking to Paul Pester, the Chief Executive of TSB, which is a small part of the Lloyds Banking Group, which includes, as you say, Lloyds Bank and Halifax. TSB has about 5 million customers in the UK. So it's not small, but it's the smaller brother, as it were, of the Lloyds Banking Group. And he's been telling me that they have 7 servers that process payments from debit cards, and 2 have been affected. So 2/7 of their IT system has somehow been affected, gone down. I don't know what the official technical term is. And that has meant that about a quarter of all transactions with TSB cards are affected in some way, meaning they can't use their card. They can't pay at the petrol station or a supermarket or wherever it is, or they can't get cash out of the ATM. Now, he says they're working flat out to solve it. They cannot give an end time as to when it's all be back to normal. But he himself is dealing personally with all the Twitter complaints, which is slightly unusual for a chief executive of a bank. If you go on Twitter, you will see the man responding personally to complaints from customers who, as you can imagine, are hopping up and down, since sometimes they can't get on the phone to establish why was my card rejected. They don't know it's an IT glitch. Not everybody, believe it or not, is watching the news channel at every one time with this information. So he's dealing with those issues personally. But this is a wider issue, as you also said. This is Lloyds Banking Group, 30 million customers in the United Kingdom, the largest retail bank, and they have had an IT headache. And it's not the first in this country, but at the moment it's Lloyds Banking Group seriously affected.
Yeah, he's actually in direct conversation with a number of people, isn't he, Paul Pester? But I mean, you get a sense from Twitter just how cross people are about this and the way it's being dealt with. I mean, there's complaints that their telephone banking messages hadn't been updated to give people information. And Paul Pester's saying that we had 300 customers queuing to speak to the call centre at one point, so apologising to people if they couldn't get through. It sounds pretty chaotic. Yeah,
300 basically means that you're waiting at least half an hour to get through. And obviously the number of people dealing with the call centres would probably be a bit lower on a Sunday than it would be during the week. So they are absolutely flat out if you're on duty today at Lloyds Banking Group, TSB, whatever it is. But this is an IT problem. It's not unique because, as you know, last November there was a major problem at NatWest, RBS and Ulster Bank. That affected 750,000 people. So 750,000 people simply couldn't use their own card to access their own money. And it caused huge embarrassment for RBS and NatWest Group. And they have promised to pay compensation. Almost certainly TSB, Halifax and Lloyds will also offer some sort of compensation if, for whatever reason, that you're out of pocket as a direct result of this IT glitch. If, for example, you want to make a payment and that payment didn't go through and you're charged interest on a late payment or something like that, that would require something like compensation.